Hey girl, Marissa here. You are listening to the Codependummy podcast. As a young woman, you have been raised, reinforced, and rewarded for putting the needs of others above your own. That is for being codependent. Now in your 20s, you're exhausted, exasperated, and enveloped in crap relationships, especially the one you have with yourself. This podcast is to help you undo all that so you can stop playing small and start taking up space, you dummy. Let's get to it. Hey girl, welcome to part 2, numero dos. Not episode number 2, but part 2 of this 3-part trilogy where I'm discussing ways you have been raised, reinforced, and rewarded to be codependent, right? You have been set up. You're over there thinking you're all crazy and pathetic and so self-conscious. And I'm over here saying, it's designed, right? You've been set up to grow into a 20-something who you don't even know who you are, because all you have been is whoever everyone else wanted you to be, right? So you're not crazy, you're not pathetic, you're not so self-conscious. You've been conditioned to live this way, right? And by bringing awareness to that, my hope is through this 3-part trilogy is we're going to start to see through the cracks, right? Like break the foundation so we can construct something beautiful on top of it, because we need some renovations around here. This is not sustainable. So today, right, part 2, ways you have been reinforced in your family, through society, to put the needs of others above your own, right? Put their attention, their approval, their affection towards you above your own self-affection, self-approval, self-attention. And how's that turned out, right? Let's see. So, reflecting back on my own journey of codependency, being such a codependent dummy, I realized a couple years ago, it was really only a couple years ago, that one way that I really, truly, dearly have been codependent is with my body, right? It's like, the fuck does codependency have to do with your body, Marissa? Everything, actually. Literally everything. So I will say I weigh about 115 right now, right? Most physicians would be very content to, right, put me on a scale, check my BMI, like, thumbs up, my next physical. However, I have weighed 40 pounds more, so about 155. And that spectrum, right, that gap in between is riddled with my codependency related to what can I do What can I eat? What can I not eat? What can I not do in order to have a certain shape, a certain figure, so you will approve of, attend to, and provide your affection, love, liking to me, right? And, I talked about this last time, but middle school really was the beginning of the end for me, as I sense it is a lot for a lot of codependent dummies. And, right, that's when I went through puberty and I was not prepared for that. And in high school was when my body consciousness, not like I'm like, this like body conscious. Like it wasn't a good thing. I was hyper self-conscious of my body all the time. And I remember that being reinforced, right? How was that reinforced? I was a cheerleader, talked about that last time, only my freshman year, but still, cheerleaders are supposed to be small, right? You can be a flyer, you can be up in there, or you can be a base. I was a base. I was down, I was on the ground, I was lifting girls. But yeah, definitely the ideal. What's the ideal? What is reinforced? We are supposed to be tiny, we are supposed to be small. That's how we get attention from the fans, affection from our parents and like our teammates' parents or other cheerleaders' parents, and approval from our coaches, right? And yeah, I think in middle school, freshman year, that was when I really realized, oh, one way I can get the attention, affection, and approval from others is to be small, right? Be tiny, be cute. And I think I realized too, because I did go through puberty and I did gain weight, that I didn't get as much affection, attention, and approval when I was pudgy, when I was chubby, when I was little heavier than my twin sister. So, yeah, okay, all right, right? Not conscious, but very observant and deciding, all right. And then, right, how is that reinforced societally? Hello, right? What magazines was I reading? What TV shows was I watching? What music was I listening to? What movies was I consuming? Right? All of this content pointed to Marissa. If your value, if your worth comes from other people being happy with you, which it did because I was freaking 15, 16 years old, like codependummy in the making, then you need to look like these women, these young women, even on your cheer team at your high school, in the magazines and in the movies, who tend to get the most affection, attention, and approval, right? So, what do you need to do to get that? Because if you don't get that, you have no value, right? And you're disappointing everyone. You're just walking around and like, you're just disappointing people. And, right, I was thinking, like, well, how was I raised to be this too? I remember when I was little, my paternal grandmother in Spanish said to my dad, which I didn't, that's a different topic, but I did not learn Spanish. And she whispered to my dad, I must have been in like elementary or middle school. And she's like, "Ba-da-da-da." I was like, what? And my dad said back to her, she does not have fat cheeks. It's like, Grandma, for you listening, I'm like holding my cheeks. I was like, oh my God. Right? What is that comment? What is an 11, 12-year-old supposed to gather from that? Right? Here's my paternal grandmother saying in a disproving tone, in a secret language, literally to my dad, hinting at something negative about me. Like, what is she selling? What is she telling him? Like you need to watch your daughter's cheeks, like they're getting a little puffy. Was it a warning? Like, Junior, my dad's a junior, like your daughter's cheeks are getting pretty fat. Might want to watch her cheeks. And right, like don't have big cheeks, Marissa. Do what you need to do so your grandma won't make those comments, will be content with you, won't warn your dad. Like suck it up, suck it in, like lose your little cheek weight, as if I could do exercises to do that. But right, comments like that. Love my dad. And he unintentionally like told me when, again too, like around that same time, that I'll never fit into a certain prom dress. My sister wore a prom dress, and I was like, I want to wear that when I go to prom, like 6 years from now. And he's like, yeah, no, it's not gonna happen. And right, being a budding codependent, right, wanting to get that attention, approval, affection I so desperately wanted and needed, it's hard to hear comments like that from family, from cheer coaches, from whoever you heard it from, and not think, oh, okay, I need to do the opposite of what I'm doing. I need to be the opposite of what I am right now so I can get that love, attention I'm pining for. So yeah, I got those comments, right? Society is just like, yeah, just get really tiny and you can be on the cover of this magazine, right? Get this tiny, you can win the guy. Be this tiny, you'll just get everything you've ever wanted. And I am going to integrate. So, right, the 2 episodes ago, I talked about the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual's definition of dependent personality disorder, which really intertwines with codependency. Last week, I talked about Timon, right, and his part of his definition of what codependency is. And today, I'm going to reference Karen Horney. She is a boss ass psychotherapist from the 30s and 40s. And, right, talk about a trailblazer and not necessarily dependent on men's approval when the field was all males, mostly males at that time. And she studied young women. And she worked with, all types of patients, but she really was one of the initial observers of this hyperdependence that some people have. And one of the symptoms that Karen Horney identified is that codependents, codependummies, we have a magical belief that we will find an answer to life through others. And that is the definition of Marissa in high school and her quest for a perfect body. I literally thought, if I get to a certain weight, everyone's going to be so happy with me. I will be so happy with myself. I will get the guy. I'll win homecoming queen. I'll get into the college of my choice because they ask about weight on the application, which no, they don't, but they did in this magical belief that I had, and I would live happily ever after. Right? Because in that scenario, right, what's underneath all of that is everyone would be so happy with me. They would just look at me and say, "Oh, Marissa, you are so tiny and small. You are just the size that we want and need you to be for us to give you that attention, approval, and affection you seek." So, what did that look like? Right? I remember in high school, I would go to the salad bar instead of pizza. And I ran cross country, which I still run. I love running. It's the best. But I did cheer. That didn't work out because in addition to being everything that cheer stereotypically is, right? I did it in high school, it was super competitive, and then in middle school and then in high school it was not competitive, and I had no interest in watching football games all the time. So went to cross country, and yeah, I remember I was like, all right, this is my starting weight. It's not the weight that my twin sister is, so I got to get down to whatever she's weighing because she is getting a lot of attention, affection, and approval. So got to get down to that. And I looked up, I don't know if I mentioned it in the last episode, but I looked up like bulimia, anorexia. How do you do this? How to? And, played around with not eating for a day. And then I would not eat for 3 days. And then I wouldn't eat for 5 days. And yeah, bulimia in the psychological literature, it isn't just throwing up. It could be over exercising. It could be using laxatives, right? There are different ways to get rid of calories and food. And yeah, I definitely over exercised. Or yeah, I'd be running cross country and not eating and running. And I attracted other young women on the same quest, right? And we would talk about diets, and we would talk about actresses, and we would talk about girls who went to our school who were successfully starving themselves. We're like, oh my God, do you see she lost like 30 pounds last summer? And we're like, so jealous because she was getting all this attention, affection, and approval. Right? It was reinforced. It was really reinforced. And like freshman year, I would start at a certain weight, lose the weight, and I was reinforced as well. Compliments from my friends and family friends. I remember moms of my friends would say, Marissa, you look so good. And I'd say, thank you. Thank you so much. Right? And I would dress up in a certain outfit and try and show some more skin. And this family friend would say, wow, Marissa, you look great. Like, oh, right? My little codependent heart was so full, so full. It was reinforced. So experimenting with starving anorexia, right? I just shrugged my shoulders for those who are listening. Uh, you know, exercise bulimia, working it off. I remember my dog. I would let my dog eat some of my food so I wouldn't have to eat everything off my plate. But, right, freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, senior year, it was up and down. It was up and down because I wanted your attention, affection, and approval, right? And I also, that was so much pressure in high school. I was trying to get the attention, affection, and approval from my teachers by getting straight A's, from my coaches by being a good athlete, from everyone by being in a certain body type, from colleges to think, oh, yes, her, we want her here, from boys, from girls. There's so much pressure in high school for a codependent because there's a lot hanging on the approval of others, right? That was my experience. And so I sense that in a way to deal with all that pressure, right? The pendulum would swing and I would eat my codependent heart out, right? To just like a tea kettle, like, when it's hot, it's just like I just need to let some steam off. And also being codependent and wanting everyone's attention, affection, and approval, I didn't get it all the time. And how am I supposed to cope with that disappointment? I don't know. I didn't know. I did not have tools at the time. And so, right, food was one of those ways. And I know with my patients, right, the young women and men that I've worked with, it manifests different ways. And so they maybe deal through substances or porn or gaming or sex, alcohol, prescription pills. You name the vice. And, what I really want to get through to you today, my little codependummy, is that I could have gone to a psychiatrist and, right, if through most of my cross country season, I was starving a couple days a week. I was running so hard I would vomit. I remember doing that very strategically. He or she, right? Might be a she. She's psychiatrist. They're taking over. We'll go with she. She might have looked at me and thought, this young woman is starting to display symptoms of anorexia, right? She might have said that. Or, yeah, the exercise bulimia, the vomiting. It wasn't too often actual vomiting. It happened. And she might look at that. She might have looked at that and said, oh, this girl is bulimic. And, right, those times when the pendulum swung and I would gain the weight back and then some and just walk around and, oh God, I'm just disappointing everyone by being big, taking up space, pudgy, chubby, right? I don't look as cute in these outfits. that psychiatrist might have said she has binge eating disorder. And that is not true, right? Because underneath those attempts, right? If I had the consciousness and was able to tell you what I was really trying to do when I was starving, I would have said, I just want everyone to love me. I just want everyone to love me. And this is one of the ways I have found that other young women get love. They look good, right? If she had asked me, like, why are you exercising so much? And like, why are you running so hard that you do throw up sometimes? Right? Like wiping the throw up, or, after however many miles I ran or what workout I did at the gym, I would have said, I just really, 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 really want everyone's approval. I want everyone to approve of my body. And I sense that the tinier I am, the more they're going to approve of me. I really, really want that. I think I'll be happy once I get a 10, once I get a thumbs up from everyone. That's why I'm doing this. And if I had the awareness and she had come and sat down with me when I was at the bottom of a Girl Scout cookie box, freaking love Girl Scout cookies, right? If she had asked, like, why are you eating the whole box? Why did you just eat a whole box of Thin Mints? Aren't you sick? Isn't that hurting your tummy? I would have said, I got a bad grade on a big exam today. I forgot my homework for theater, and this boy I really like just started dating this other girl. And I feel like I disappointed my teacher because I got a D. I disappointed my classmates because I forgot to do my homework assignment. And I guess I couldn't prove to this boy how desirable I am. I wasn't able to convey that. And I don't know how to deal with these feelings. This is a lot. This is a lot to deal with. I don't know how to talk about it. I don't know how to deal with it. And also, I'm worried if I do talk about it, I'll just sound like I'm being dramatic. Like, you got a D. Like, you can do better next time. Or it wasn't that big of a deal. You forgot your homework assignment. There are plenty of fish in the sea. Right? There's something about me being codependent where the rules don't apply the same. I really want other people's affection, attention, and approval. And when I don't get it, I worry that I'll never, ever get it back. So I need these Thin Mints to feel better. Right? And if she was able to spend enough time with me, arguably years, maybe watching my weight fluctuate and different diets and, fasts that I went on and outfits and things that I did in order to, get my body down to a certain weight, she might have I hope she would have, watching me, thought, wow, this girl is desperate for people's approval. Like, damn, she's thirsty for affection. She is really dependent on everyone liking her. It's just manifesting this way, right? It comes out through her body. And, right, I put that affection, attention, and approval. I put other people's needs to be pleased with me and my appearance over my own, right? I had no idea what I wanted. I had no idea what I needed. I just knew that other people wanted and needed me to be small. Thanks, Grandma. And, all the other subliminal messages we get. Right? That's what I knew. And, right? Raised, reinforced, and rewarded to put the needs of others above our own, or just not necessarily even care. I didn't know what I needed. I just knew that you needed me to be small. So let me do what I can. And I'm sure I will talk more about it in upcoming episodes. Right? This journey, this reinforcement of my size, right? Reinforcement of being dependent on others' attention, affection, and approval of me. It didn't stop my senior year. Arguably got worse in college throughout my 20s. And for today, the focus will be on, right, those initial reinforcements, those initial rewards, right? How we have been raised, right? The seeds that were planted when we were little girls, little tweens, little teens, that influence our 20s, 30s, young adulthood to maintain these, right? This magical belief. I had this magical belief that I would find an answer to life through others being happy with me, approving of my body. It was not an eating disorder. It was codependency. So today, sis, this week, I wonder, how has your codependency shown up in different ways? How's it manifested, right? If you are an addict, what's underneath that? If you watch too much porn, what's underneath that? If you're sexually promiscuous, what are you hoping to get from that promiscuity? If you're gaming too much, if you're eating too much, if you're not eating enough, right? These symptoms that we tend to develop, even physical pain or IBS. Like, how come you have IBS? It's like, oh, because I'm just constantly trying to get everyone to love and approve of me. It's like, damn, girl, it's a lot of pressure. No wonder your bowels are all messed up. Get your shit together. Or you're trying to do that all the time. I digress. What do you sense is underneath your symptoms, right? Your negative coping skills ways that you have starved, binged with different substances. I want you to think about that. I want you to reflect on it, and I want you to share about it with me. All right, so you can email me, Marissa at codependummy.com. Thank you for listening. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the podcast, leave a review, right? We're 4 episodes in. Let me know what you think. Holla at your girl. You can sign up for my free course, Codependummy 101. It's all about helping you to stop being such a codependent dummy and shine like a codependent diamond. You can join the Facebook group, the Codependummy Podcast. I'll be announcing upcoming episodes. You can interact with me and the Codependummy community. And I think I'll be in there doing some lives and stuff like that, so you get more exposure, more Marissa. And tune in next time, right? The third part of the trilogy, ways you have been raised, reinforced, and rewarded to be codependent. You have been set up, and I am shedding light on this, right? This straitjacket you think you created, and I'm telling you, like, we have just been put in and tied up in that. Hopes that we can take it off, put it down. Thank you so much. I will see you next time. Hey sis, it's Marissa again. I'm not like a regular podcaster, I'm a cool podcaster, right? Thank you for listening and staying till the end, and know this. If you are feeling unseen, I see you. If you are feeling unheard, I hear you. And if you feel like you don't matter, know that you matter to me. Until next time, be sure to check out codependummy.com for more info about today's episode, my free course, and other resources. Take care. You're still here? Just kidding. Girl, this is not therapy, and I'm not your therapist, okay? This podcast is designed to provide accurate and authoritative information in regards to the subject matter covered. It is given with the understanding that neither the host, the publisher, or the guests are rendering any legal, clinical, or other professional information. If you want or need a professional, you should find one.